Hi all, in this video let's learn about TypeScript, some of the best practices with some examples. So let's get started. So firstly, enum. Most of the cases we might have used enum like this. Okay. Instead of using the enums like this, try to use constant enums. Because if you use an enum like this, you can see there is an extra code generated at the runtime. So this is extra code which is generated at the runtime. So this adds more bundle size, and this is an extra code generating at the runtime. So this is not that much needed. So in case like you are using enums, so try to use the constant before the enums. With this, what happens? This is an inline compiled code. So the directly a value would be there. So you can see here, this is directly a value would be replaced at the runtime. So because this is inline code base. Okay. This is one of the like a best practice you can use so that you can reduce the code base at the runtime, extra code which is generating at the runtime. But one thing you need to understand before doing this, the enum which you're using like with the constant, so this will not be available as a reference, object reference. I mean, any of the enum you wanted to refer it at the runtime as an object, then don't use constant. Okay. If you don't want to use this enum operations at the runtime, go with the constant. Okay. That is one thing. And the second point is like the same thing, the enum part. So don't use enum for most of the cases. So for the simple cases, like see in this scenario, you can go ahead with the union type. And for the union type also, you're not generating any of the runtime code. Okay. Here you can see in the runtime, like this code would be generated. So for enums, most of the cases, the runtime code would be generated. So for simple use cases like this, try to use union type where you no need to generate any runtime code. And the third point, yep, types. So in general, like most of the cases, most of us will be using the primitive types, but by mistake also don't use this boxed object type. Okay. What is this capital string means? Like this is an wrapper on top of this primitive types in which it provides more methods and properties to use. Most of the cases, we won't use them. So straightforward, try to use this is simple one primitive type. In case if you feel you want to use that like only when the scenario is there that like you can use this boxed object methods or properties, then only use this. Okay. It takes like consumes a lot of memory. Okay, so don't use that. Yep, that is about that types. And coming to the return types of the callback functions, so see here you have a callback function. Okay. Don't mention any of the callback, like any. If you mention any, so it's like this function, if accidentally it returns anything. So in case like you don't wanted to use this callback function, but in case future you're trying to use this callback function, so then whatever the value, accidentally if you're returning back any value, since what happens is like you're not verifying that value, right? This is an unchecked value. So that's the reason it is like it's adding some, it is removing the type checking. Okay. So whenever you feel like any callback, you don't want to return anything by accidentally, then please use void instead of any. So most of the cases, this point I have seen. So if you're not returning anything, most of them are putting any. So that is wrong. You need to put void. So accidentally also, if you're returning something, it will not be returned. And because that is the case, if it is returning, you need to verify what value you're returning. It's like you are returning an unchecked value, which adds more risk. Okay, so don't do that. Don't put any to the return type, which you're not returning accidentally also. Just put void. So coming to the function override. So here in this scenario, you may observe like these are the three function override methods. Okay. So one is with the unknown, next is HTML element, HTML div element. So now I'm using an HTML div element, and if I call this method, so it is returning an unknown, this one. So ideally, we expect that it should be returned this one, right? But it is returning this one. The reason behind this is like while using the function overloads, so please be more specific. Specific scenarios should be at the top. For example, see, HTML div is a more specific to the HTML div and HTML element. So more specific things should be ordered at the top. So only the sorting part we are talking about. The order should be in such a way. It, oh, sorry. The order should be in such a way that specific elements should be at the top and general things. See, unknown is in general one. Okay. Whatever the type you send, like most of the cases, unknown would be triggered. So the general ones should go at the last. So in this case, what happened? If you put this general one at the top for any of the element you are adding this, like it would be written, unknown would be written. So more specific things should be at the top, more general things at the bottom. So while using the function overloads, try to be ordering this uh, syntax like more specific things at the top and general things at the bottom. Yep. And coming to this runtime checking. So most of the cases, why we use this TypeScript is like we rely on TypeScript with respect to the checking, type checking. See, if you see, we are relying on the TypeScript to check this type. Don't add extra code at the runtime. So this adds more extra code. Okay. See, you are adding ABC, and again you are verifying whether A is not equal to function, and then returning back something, throw something. No, this is like not necessary in case like your you need to most of the cases you need to minimize your runtime type checking. Okay, because it we are relying on the TypeScript for the type safety, and it is going to take care at here itself. Okay, so don't add more extra code at the runtime type checking. Okay, this is what like you need to avoid something like this. And coming to this point, so this is a TypeScript like a config file. So here you can see this TypeScript config file. So where just use this all property. I will put this in the description of the video. If you use this, most of the unused code of the TypeScript would be removed. In the next coming videos, I will try to explain about this tsconfig file and what properties, each and every property with an examples. I will make a detailed video on that. But with this properties, what happens is like it will be removing the unused code. So at a high level, you can see remove comments. Yes, it is true. The comments would be removed while it is bundling, and import imports not used as values. So it will be also removed. Imports which you are not using, those will also be removed. So about all these properties, I will try to explain in the next video. A complete video I will be doing on this TypeScript configs. There we can learn, but at a high level, like please use this configs to make sure like if you're not using any code, that code should be unused code should be removed from your bundle. Okay. And the last point is like I just wanted to highlight this point. The reason behind this is like these days most of the people are using these generics like as they learned this, they are using it. They are overusing this. Okay, but no, if you know like what the exact type is, okay, but don't think about the only think about the current scenario. If you know what value it is, the current scenario, just use it as a string and return type as a string. Be more specific. Okay, don't overuse the generics as you know like the values and the data types you know upfront. And if you think like okay it may be change and or you learned generics, that's the reason don't use this generics. It again becomes the bottleneck. Okay, try to be more specific because TypeScript itself is like helps us to be more specific. Okay, so that is all about this best practices about the TypeScript. Hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for the more videos. Thank you.